We're going outside now, Samantha and I, to give you a tour of the sights. And hopefully this shall not come to pass, a time when there shall be no more peanut butter sandwiches, rosewater raspberry cake, lemon bars brownie cake, German chocolate vegan Irish oat cake. This shall not be. Yes, Samantha? This shall not be.
Thanks. Have a good night.
We're going outside now. It's actually a very nice evening, yes.
Beautiful sunset in one of Portland's historic districts, LADD edition. That's L-A-D-D edition. It is one of the garden districts that is founded in European garden districts, where there's a central garden and a number of smaller gardens around it. It forms a geometric design in the community, and that leaves lots of green space for houses and yards and cafes like we were just in within the community. And from what I just learned, a lot of this is in jeopardy to be torn down and replaced with high-rises.
Yay, just what we need.
More high-rises.
And parking lots.
And parking lots. But they won't do parking lots. They're putting in the public transportation streetcars, which I can get behind, but not tearing down, you know...
Historic sites.
Historic sites. Considering that some of these buildings were built in the mid-1800s, some 1900s, you know, this is history.
Oh, yes. Let's find out a little more history so there's no mystery. Hmm?
So these are roundabouts. This is LADD Circle. And as you can see, it's lit, it's a park. There used to be benches here for you to sit on.
Build your chest. Squat racks for squatters.
Yes. It looks like there are still some benches.
Not quite Muscle Beach, California, but still.
No. And still people use the park.
People on the grass.
So it's not like this isn't a neighborhood that's defunct, as you see people walking around the streets, garden district up there, cars, houses, people are living in this neighborhood. It's not old, it's not, well, it's really old actually, but it's not tore down, run down. It's not a neighborhood that needs to be gentrified.
Yes.
In that sense. But that's exactly what's going to happen here in a corporate way, not as in like, let's improve the neighborhood. Let's do things improvement.
Well, it'll improve their profits.
Ah, that's true. And not the homeowners that currently own these pieces of land. It'll, you know.
Some of the houses are actually quite cozy. Let's take a look.
Yes. I do like this sign over here that's off with their heads.
One more time.
I do like the sign over here that's off with their heads.
Oh yes, off with their heads. We'll get to that. Almost like Alice in Thunderlands.
Yes. And this is a Saturday, 9 to 11, off with their heads. I wonder what that means. Are there going to be some kind of protest in this neighborhood about what they're planning?
Well, maybe they're going to be killing the heads of administration. Am I being too metaphorical? We'll see. So, off with their heads as we're going down the rabbit hole.
So we'll just walk up one of the smaller streets. As you can see, there's churches in this neighborhood, though I'm not a religious person. If you have a church, you know, especially one that is in this neighborhood that's one of the older churches in Portland, was built in 1909. Yeah.
That's up ahead.
It's a beautiful church.
Some of the architecture is quite nice. I'm not sure, but I think this may say tea house.
And some of these are actually apartment complexes, so this neighborhood does have, you know, apartments in it. It's not just single housing. It was designed to be very space conscious, even back in the day. Those are our yards, but they're not like massive yards that you would think in a suburb or something like that. They're, you know, moderately sized yards. Oh. You can see how old the neighborhood is because they have the old carriage streets.
Mm-hmm.
So, now they're where the trash cans are stored, but you know, they're sort of cute. And the trash cans are on the street. Oh, yeah.
Yes. That is a novel concept.
Right? Have you, coming from New York to Portland, have you noticed that you don't see trash on the streets?
Well, it seems to be a lot cleaner, yes.
Even in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
There was no, like, piles of trash. You've been here now 4 days, and no piles of trash in the streets. My question is, why can't New York get that shit together?
It is disappointing. I mean, I do kind of miss that menagerie of urban blights, consumerism, and the decay.
Oh.
There is a certain ambiance to the trash piles, is there not?
I say because of a certain New York aroma.
Yes, aroma.
That you may miss if you're slightly demented. Maybe I'm slightly demented.
That's provided you're aiming for it. If you're not aiming, you won't miss.
Exactly.
This is the church we're talking about.
As you can see here, I don't know if you can read it on the video, that says 1909. This is definitely a historic site.
I do believe this is one of the cornerstones. I can put up a lighter to it, maybe illuminate it slightly more.
Don't put it down, huh?
Well, yes, not yet.
As you can see, it's still a very beautiful church, stained glass windows, very well constructed. You know? Its industrialists are great leaders of globalization on their way. This and this beautiful rose garden that have been here since the 1900s. And when England was being bombed in World War I and II, and the roses were in danger, English people from England brought their roses to Portland. And all of our roses are heritage roses from England that then once the wars were stopped or over, they were able to take these roses back to England and reintegrate them back into the English countryside and stuff like that. And now that's why Portland is known as Rose City.
Interesting stuff. I did not know that.
But as you can see, the roses did not all go back to England. We kept some for ourselves.
Yes. Well, it just makes sense.
You know.
They kept the tobacco leaves, we kept the roses.
Yeah, you know, I think we got the better smelling of the things. Except they have thorns. There are thornless roses.
I wonder if you can smoke roses.
You
They
can
do
eat-
smoke salmon.
You can eat roses. I don't know if you can smoke them, but you can eat it.
It's another example of very interesting architecture here. Almost like out of a fairy tale. Beautiful little house. I really would hate to see something like that go.
No, it's not only these small houses, but these historic houses over here that are one of the oldest houses in Portland. That was built. I think this house was one of the first merchants' houses that settled here, and was one of the people that actually sponsored Ladd's Edition, i.e. Ladd. It's Ladd House. And though this district isn't as well known as Peacock Lane per se, with its holiday lights and, you know, gorge of Christmas spirit and, you know, glut of money, money, money every year, this neighborhood is much more beautiful than Peacock Lane, and much more historic, actually. Beautiful house.
It's an interesting effect. It's almost like on this side of the street it's a little earlier than on the one we left behind. Sky seems to be lighter, at least.
Yeah.
It's reflecting so on the phone. Maybe it's the sun just following us.
Yes. And
Huh.
then we look over there.
Ah, yes.
We bring the light to the world. Yes. But beautiful house.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So,
No arguments there.
I will have to say that I have a particular fondness for this neighborhood. I did spend 3 years living in this neighborhood as a teenager. Some of the my youth. You know, I'd have to say this is my childhood neighborhood if I had one. So it'd be a shame to see it cut. Yes.
Well, one thing about historic buildings, structures of sorts, whether they're monuments or more for everyday living, is once they're gone, they really can't be replaced. Sometimes they can be imitated, replicated, duplicated, call it what you will, but they cannot really be replaced.
That's very, very true. Especially when you're talking about trees that are 100 years old or more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because this is an oak tree. Oak trees actually grow at a very slow rate, so that's a very large oak tree. And that over there is one of an evergreen tree. Evergreen trees tend to have small trunks, and if you look at that, how big would you say that evergreen trunk is over there?
It's almost the size of, wow, something prodigious should come to mind. Yes, it's quite large.
Yes, almost as large, yes, I would say.
Wow.
But
If you're implying it's larger than my ego, I don't know. And we're in shaky ground here, like with the coffee.
Yes, yes, we are. But what I'm saying is that pine tree there in Evergreen has probably been in this neighborhood and living there longer than the neighborhood itself.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah, it would be a shame not only for the houses and the community to be disassembled, but the people, the trees, the thing that makes this what it is.
This is the interesting thing, is this is something you don't notice in a lot of neighborhoods. Is a very tall grass with seemingly unkempt yet very natural appearance that doesn't take away but adds to the overall ambiance, atmosphere, flavor.
This is a certain type of plant that's indigenous to this area.
Mm-hmm.
It grows in swamps, swamp grass or something like that. It's indigenous. No.
We will be getting back onto the main road momentarily,
Yes.
but I think we sort of did give our prospective viewers a bit of a
That's a very
glimpse.
pretty puppy. Thank you. She's a very prancing puppy too. She's got spirit.
Yes, she's got spirit.
Was that the one that tried to eat the other doggy?
No, that was a gray one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not saying they all are, but she's very prancy. She's like,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There is one bad thing about trees. Limbs do tend to fall off if they're not maintained.
Well, the same thing happens with cadavers.
Oh.
Yeah, they tend to lose limbs. For anyone who's an aficionado of zombie films.
Yes, they do tend to smell too. The trees don't, so plus for tree.
Yes.
Plus for tree. We're walking up to Hawthorne. Hawthorne is one of the main streets and oldest streets in Portland. It connects the east side of the river to the west side of the river via the Hawthorne Bridge. It goes all the way up to 180th and to the Hawthorne Bridge. It goes into downtown and in, so it's a very long street too. However, the speed limit on it is only 35 miles an hour.
I can't walk that fast.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry. You're just not being considerate. I haven't been doing cardio like you.
I think we just need to get your board and we'll push you down it a little bit.
I don't want to be bored. I just don't want to get restless. I'm not bored.
Because it is at a slight downhill, because this area...
How about we put you on my board and we give you a slight push? Ah, you have, yes. The Swiss 6 bearings, the Ronin trucks, yes. Oh.
You can kind of tell that it is on a downhill. And Mount Tabor is actually an active volcano that we have built the city on top of.
Cool.
Cool.
I'd like to see the entrance to the active volcano. It must have a great supply of macadamia nuts, also known as Hawaiian peanuts. More trivia for you. On that gentle note, we're going to have to end this video, but more to come. Take care. Mwah.